Hey, great to see you, Joe here, and thanks very much for joining me for another lesson. So, as you could hear there, that was Dire Straits, So Far Away. I've already done a part one to this video for anybody who's not sure of how the rhythm side of things go and stuff like that. And it also serves as a good grounding if you're not too sure of the song. So I'll put a link to that should you wish to check that out. But in this lesson, we're going to take a look at some of the ideas for soloing over the track. What I will do is I will explain the solo and what I was playing. And then perhaps more importantly, you will come away with some ideas as to how you can use some of the concepts to come up with your own licks and things like that. So I'll do what I usually do, which is zoom in close and explain a few things to you. Okay, so I started off the solo playing the first and second strings on the 7th fret there, and I put this first finger on the second string of the 5th fret, and the opening lick is kind of anything around the idea. I actually play. Okay, so that's a bend with these two, then back down, and then you're lifting that finger off for the, and this second finger is going on the 3rd string of the 6th fret. So you have the bend, back down, yeah, one more time with that. Bend up with the 1st and 2nd on the 7th fret, back down, so you can probably hear that. So this 3rd finger is going on the 2nd string, so you have like the 5 and the 7 going, and that's playing the 3rd on the 6th, like I say. So that's the first part. Then you have the 2nd string on the 7th fret. It's like a double bend. It's like a, that kind of idea, yeah. So I put these fingers behind the note that I'm going to play because it helps with that bend. So that's the next kind of part, yeah. It goes to that note, which is the 5th fret 1st string, and then the 4th fret 1st string. So you have back to that 2nd string 7th fret, then the 5th fret 2nd string, and then the 3rd string 4th fret. So that little section So the next section we have is just the 3rd string 4th fret, and we're going to go to the 6th fret. That's what we're looking to do. So the first part, 4 to 6, 3rd string, then 2nd string 5 to 7, quick bend, yeah, and that's just on the 5 and the 7. And do remember that you can have any kind of your own little variations with any of this. I'm just trying to give you, an idea so you can build on it, yeah? So the next bit you need to know is, which is exactly the same notes, and that's just the 3rd string 4th to 6th fret, 2 on the first note, hammer on to the 6th fret, 2nd string 5th fret, hammer on to the 7th fret, 2nd string. Yeah? So the next little section again uses the same notes, and it has this little... Okay, so if you play a D starting at the 4th fret, like so, so you're just barring these 3, okay, and this 3rd finger is going to be on the 6th fret, 3rd string, so it's like a... So you're pulling off. So that's all on the 3rd string, and then you pluck the 2nd string. So you have... Okay, so if you haven't done that before, you might just find that a little bit of a challenge, but it will get much easier with practice. So it's like a... Just practice it slowly. Yeah, so it's, as I say, a D. Think of a D, like so. Move up there. That's the next bit. So you're playing the 2nd string 7th fret, bending right up. Then you're placing your pinky on the 1st string 7th fret. So you have... Yeah, like a bend down from the 7th. So that might take a little bit of practice, okay. So you're on the 7th fret, and you're going to bend it right up. So practice that part first, bending up the 2nd. So you actually play it and then bend it. So it's like a... And this 1st finger is just playing this 2nd string on the 5th fret. Yeah, so that's all that's doing. So if you put these fingers behind the one which you're bending, it makes it a lot easier. Okay, so just to recap on that little section, we'll rewind a little bit. Then we move up the neck and we play the 2nd string on the 14th fret, and we bend it up. Yeah, to try and that amount. So you're just looking to bend up from 14, back down, pluck again, then the 12th 2nd string. So you have, then you go back actually, so you have bend up, bend down, off, on. So that's all between 12 and 14 on the 2nd string basically, yeah? So you have, then you place this finger on the 4th string 14th fret. So that little lick is, I sometimes play it twice, you can just play it once if you want. And then what you play is, and effectively that's just like an E, okay? Because if you think of an E down here, in its kind of normal position, you know, in its open position if you like, so there. Well, all you've done is you've moved that up 12 frets and you've put this 1st finger there. So it's the same thing, and if you look at the notes that we're playing, so that's 5th and 4th strings on the 14th fret, then the 3rd string 13th fret, and then the 1st and 2nd strings on the 12th fret. Okay, so for this high part now, when we come out of this E, first string we go up to the 17th, 16th, 17th second string, bend, 16th, 17th, 16th, all on the second string there. So yeah, one more time. So that's 17th and 16th on the second string, yeah. Then we play the second and third strings on the 14th fret and play. Okay, so the next riff you need to know goes like this. One more time. So that's 5 to 7 on the second string, hammer on. First string, 4th to 5th, hammer on and pull off. Pinky on the second string, 7th fret. First finger on the 4th fret, first string. Then we play the second string, 7th fret again. Okay, so we have then we play the 5th fret, second string. Then the 4th string, 6th fret, then the second string again, 5th fret, and then the second string, 7th fret, and then the second string, 5th fret. Okay, and that's it. So that's that riff. Yeah, slowly. So that's that riff. And this is kind of quite a nice little riff that you can put in. I opened the intro with this kind of figure, yeah, which is the 7th fret and the first and second strings. And this first finger plays the second string on the 5th fret. So it means you can kind of, you can bend, so this middle finger's not doing anything, yeah? And so you can bend this, and just by taking this third finger on and off, you know, you can pretty much find things that work for you. It's very much like a rhythmic thing and what fits with the rhythm, you know. You needn't, you know, copy all these phrases. You can just adapt them to suit you is the kind of important thing. So it's like a... So there are a number of ways you can play that. You know, as I say, a little bend, back down, on and off with this. And so my right hand's just plucking those, you know, bottom two strings. Like so. So just whatever suits you there. And just try and get comfortable with bending it and just... See, I'm stopping the notes with my right hand as well. So they'd just be ringing on, obviously. So that's something to bear in mind as well, that just by putting your fingers back on the strings on your right hand like so, stops the strings, and his Mark Knopfler's playing is quite kind of dampened and syncopated, and he kills notes quickly and he'll let others ring, so it's kind of quite a country style lick of his. I hear him use quite a bit, that type of idea. So moving on to the next section, Now the next little lick I put in is it kind of goes like so. Just play it a couple of times so you can hear it and become accustomed to it. Okay, and it's just the first string. So you again this hammer on and pull off idea, 4th to 5th. And we go to the 2nd string, 5th fret. So we have. Now, again, I would urge you to experiment here because there's lots of combinations of open strings you can play, and there are many variations you could just play on this lick. So it's kind of open for you to explore a little bit as well. So anyway, so you want that 4 to 5 and pull off and onto the 2nd. Yeah. And this is all on the 1st and 2nd strings, this section I'm just showing you now. So it's like, if you think, again, it's just like an E chord, which is not surprising because that's the kind of key of the song, and a lot of the lead comes from the E positions, as I will, try and point out to you as we go along. Okay, so you have that. So you think of a D, and you move it up, and that's where that little figure comes from. We're hitting a lot of those notes. So 4 to 5. So that's 1st string, 2nd string, 1st string, 2nd string, 3rd string, 4th fret, 2nd fret, 1st, 4th string, 2nd fret, back onto the 3rd string, 1st fret, 2nd fret, and slide, and then we let this finger join it on the 4th fret on the 1st string, so you have a kind of idea, yeah? You can vary this for the timing. You can put that lick in a number of times, not, that type of idea. So that's that one. Okay, now the next riff, slowed down, goes. Now a lot of these notes are repeated, as you've probably guessed by now, but let's just play again, slowed down. Okay, so that's the 7th fret 2nd string, bend up. Then we play the 1st string 4th fret. Yeah, so it's. Then we play the 2nd string 5th fret. Then we play the 4th string on the 6th fret, so we have. Then we play the 7th fret 2nd string, so we have. And then we go back to the 5th fret of the 2nd string. So that whole riff is. And then following on from that, it goes. So you're looking to go 5-7 on the 2nd string, 7-5 on the 2nd string. Okay, so you can see what's happening there. That's like we're going between the 2nd string 7th fret, a bend, Then we land on the first string 4th fret. You might need to practice it a little bit if you haven't done it before. That's what you're kind of looking for. So it's kind of, and you do that 3 times. And then you just play 4, 5, 7 on the first string, 2 on the 4, 1 on the 5, 1 on the 7, 2nd string 7th fret, and then 2nd string 5th fret. Okay, so that's that riff. Okay, and then I finished the kind of lick with this run, descending kind of run. Okay, and it's kind of, this again you can play in a number of ways. You can play it going up, going down. It's just a kind of idea. It does this kind of thing quite a bit. Okay, so we're on the 2nd string and we're on the 9th fret. So that's a hammer on and pull off again, which is figured quite a bit so far. So that's on the 2nd string, 9, 10, hammer on, pull off. Then we're on the 3rd string, 11th fret. Then we play the 2nd string note again on the 9th. Then we play the 3rd string again on the 11th. Then we play the 9th on the 3rd string. Then we play the 11th on the 4th string. And then we repeat the 3rd string 9th fret. Then we play the 9th fret 4th string. And then we play the 5th string 11th, 10th, 9th, 7th, 6th string 9th, back to the 7th on the 5th, sliding up to the 9th, 11th, 4th string, 9th, 11th, 3rd string 9th. Sorry, it doesn't go to the 11th, it ends on the 9th of that string. So we have so the end part is 9, 11 on 5, and then 9 on the 4th and 3rd. Yeah, so it's so that's that little riff, yeah. Now that kind of concludes the solo, as it were. One thing I haven't really looked at is the double stops, and there's something that you can put into the when you're trying to solo along with it. And so there are lots within this key that we can use. So that, just your first finger on the 3rd string of the 1st fret, and then moving it up and then putting this on the 1st string of the 2nd fret, and then move it up to, so that's, yeah. Then you can have same notes there, which is 2nd string 5th fret and 4th string 6th fret. Then these two fingers play the 2nd and 4th strings of the 7th fret, and then slide it up to, down to, back to that. So same thing, 1st string 4th fret, 2nd string 5th, move that up to the 5th, and then that onto the 7th, 2nd string, yeah. So this run can go okay, so there are lots of possibilities there for So those double stops are something that you might want to experiment with, because again, that's something that Mark Knopfler uses quite a bit in some of his material. So hopefully that's helped you kind of give you some idea as to how you can solo over the track. It is just a starting point, and I've kept it very simple for, you know, to make it accessible to as many people as possible. You can obviously make it a lot more complicated than that and speed up some of the licks and things like that. But I just wanted to give those of you not too sure a bit of an idea on how to get started with it. What you will need is a backing track, which you can find on YouTube. There are many backing tracks for this song. So once you've got the licks down, then the next logical step is to put the backing on and tie them all into the song. And do remember, try and make, you know, the kind of licks your own and everything. You don't have to be identical to what I'm doing or anything like that. You know, the idea is that you just take something away from this and it helps you develop some of your own ideas. So I hope it's been useful to you in some small way. And thank you very much for watching. If you found it useful or helpful in any way, perhaps you could click on the like or the subscribe. And if you do any of the social media thing, then please feel free to share the link on, you know, Twitter or Facebook or any of that stuff. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for watching.